Why do gamers defend gaming practices and billion-dollar companies that make games? This is something that people were trying to figure out for a very long time when it comes to certain practices that goes on in the gaming world. When you look at Sony and their all digital situation, when you look at what Xbox has been doing, and in some cases even Nintendo and PC, you always have those group of people that always defend what's going on. And I kind of call them the doesn't affect me crowd because nothing affects them. Everything always is fine. And even when it's not fine, they justify it. I'm going to give you a one way, straight up reason why I think this is happening. And to an extent, I kind of understand it. So let me just tell you straight up. Some people love gaming. They really do. They love it so much they'll do anything to play a game, and they'll play their favorite game, or they'll just play whatever platform they want to play because, like I said, they love gaming that much. Some people love it so much that they don't want nothing to interfere with what is their hobby. They love this hobby that much they don't want nothing to happen to it. So what happens when certain practices, come about? Let's say the all digital situation, games are buggy, or when you have things that are just crazy like egregious microtransactions or monetization and all kinds of stuff. You have people who defend this stuff because, quite frankly, they really don't want anything to get in the way of their hobby. They feel like they will take anything that happens as long as they find a way to play their favorite game or play whatever they want to play. Now, I know there's other instances where people feel like they need to be in good graces of these billion-dollar companies. They feel like they need to be, buddy buddy with certain people to get access. And that may well be true. That does happen. You have people that don't want to ruffle feathers of anybody on social media because they may get blackballed. That does happen. But for the most part, your average run-of-the-mill person that's on social media or your average run-of-the-mill person that just like to play games, it is all because they don't want nothing to really ruffle the feathers of their favorite hobby. I talk about this sometimes where I will say that some of these games and some of these consoles and some of these, mechanisms to play games, i.e. like PC or handheld, this stuff saved people's lives. Some people are really living because they have this outlet. And once that outlet crumbles, some people may not be able to function in society. And that is the honest God truth. I know some people who were bored out of their minds and had nothing to do in their lives until they actually picked up a console. And it doesn't matter what console it is, it's just the fact that they picked something up and they were able to explore, expand their mind, expand their horizon, open up their creativity. And when you have certain news that come about and they see that type of news that's kind of detrimental to their hobby, some people really do get defensive to the point that they will take whatever that happens to their gaming, situation because they want to continue to have that that relationship or that mechanism to get away. So I know there's a lot of things out there that people say, oh, these people are corporate slaves, or these people, defending or bootlicking, and some of that stuff do happen. Don't get me wrong. And there's a lot of instances of it. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen and it's not the case because I see it all the time. But I also do understand that there's some people that will defend for other reasons. It's not because they love Sony or they love Microsoft. Some people really do come home from whatever they're doing throughout the day and they need this stuff and they do not want to hear anything negative that goes along with this hobby. So I also understand that there's some people who just flat out just do not care. And I'm not saying this is not anything that doesn't affect me crowd or whatever. They just flat out don't care. You can do anything to them when it comes to this game and stuff. They will take it with the they will take it with a grain of salt or they'll take it with a bucket of water. They do not care. They will just continue to play games no matter what happens. And I think at the end of the day, this is something that, we just have to understand. And I think some people don't realize how important gaming is to some people, and they do not want some of these things to crumble down on top of them. They don't want to hear about, oh, the all digital future is the worst thing ever. They don't want to hear about monetization really is a big thing where they can't able to grind or they have to pay to win. Some people don't mind paying to win because the cost of them paying to win or paying to level up really fast is the difference between them just playing and having fun or just some people that's grinding and just stressing themselves out over this game. Now, I will also say this. If they are stressed out over this game, maybe they do not need to play. But at the same time, some people love to keep their sanity by having all this money go to this game and just have a good time. And sometimes that is worth the mental health of certain people. So there is so many different avenues when it comes to why people accept certain types of games and certain mechanisms and certain business practices. It just the cost of doing business at the end of the day. Wherever you are on the spectrum, you just have to understand that there's some people who will just take anything. And if you're not one of those people, kudos to you. For me, there's just some stuff I don't take. Now, it's just some things I won't do. And just one thing in general, I just do not like to play online. I just don't. I don't like to play online. I don't like the mechanisms that these companies do when it comes to having things tethered to online gaming and some single player stuff. And when that stuff happens, I just don't play. And I live with myself because at the end of the day, also for me, I ain't gonna say at the end of the day, but also for me, I deal with people in the world every day, and I don't want to add that to my gaming. So I just don't have, too many online games to play. Maybe one, and that's Insurgency Sandstorm. That's like the only game I would play that's online. And most of the time on PC, we don't really communicate online like that. So it's a win-win. But for the most part, that's my deal breaker. That's where I cut things off. I'm an offline gamer and I will stay that way. But there's some people who they thrive for that online, gaming. Some people thrive for it. A lot of people thrive for it and they're willing to pay big money for that. Some people don't mind, buying digital games and going to the store or not going to the store. They just don't care. It's like, hey, I don't care. Excuse me, I don't care if these games are 60, 70, $80. I need to get my fix. I'm going to buy 2K. I'm going to play Call of Duty. I'm going to play Battlefield. I'm going to play Madden. And I'm going to play Forza. I'm going to play Forza Horizon. I'm going to play Gran Turismo. Whatever game that they play, they're going to go in and they just going to just let it be. And you just have people that are, you know, you can, for lack of a better word, they bootleg. They do, and that's just the way it is. So when I look at people, why people defend games, this is one of the main reasons why I say that, because people are, you know, they're keeping their sanity intact. Some people do not want their hobby, with probably one of the best hobbies that they ever have, and that's going on in their lives. They don't want to see that crumble. And with that being said, that they will continue to like defend it, and they don't things don't affect them, or they'll just roll with the punches and let things happen because that's just the way they are. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think I'm onto something here? Do you think that I'm telling the truth? Do you think this I'm off a little bit? Some people just want to be, bootlegging corporate companies or whatever. I mean, what do you guys think? I do believe that there's, some people that just don't want their hobby, tampered with. And they will take anything that happens. And I think this is why some people just defend whatever happens. And it's just something we have to live with. I mean, for me, I don't care. I just find it hilarious when I see some people putting themselves in a pretzel to defend the indefensible. I just find that extremely hilarious. But it happens. But nevertheless, you guys let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.